What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, well, I guess I'm sorry I lied right away because I have not been able to do content. As you can tell, I'm not in my usual setup here. I'm traveling for the weekend, but even though I'm a couple of days late, I wanted to cover the announcement about the promo or the Bitcoin halving promo event because they released a little bit more information as well as the cards themselves, which are very exciting. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm not going to read this entire thing to you. It's planned, I believe, to go for 15 days starting next Tuesday, April 16th during the regular maintenance window. You'll be able to use DEC and credits as well as using vouchers to reduce the cost by half. So for people who were complaining about the cost before, well, now here come your opportunity to get it a little bit cheaper. Granted, it's still the same thing. It's just you can't spend 625 vouchers on it. And so I think vouchers are still valued at 50 DEC a piece. So nothing really changes in that sense, but we'll have to wait and see what the appetite is like. But there are two cards, one legendary, one rare. We knew that was going to be the case. We now have the names and the stats. So let's jump into the legendary one first. Baron Fiat. Now, this is interesting because you're going to get a legendary card with, at level 1, have the halving ability as well as a magic attack. Now, I don't believe I've seen this before. So in the sense that all of the other halving monsters or units have only been melee or ranged, which means that there's a chance that they could miss, right? Unless, dodge, not dodge, but phase is in the mix. But phase is not as common of an ability, so magic usually hits. Now, on top of that, at the first level, you're going to get this magic attack. It's just 1 damage. Speed is 2, so that doesn't really change. But it's having as well as Scattershot. And I think with the current meta the way that it is, especially with how dominant Lily can be, whether it's with what's his name or not, Grimbardoon Smith, the Scattershot ability I think could come in really powerful here, just because then you can avoid anywhere that the opponent is trying to send you, and so you get that at the outset. Scattershot and halving, and then at silver level, this does get increased to 2 damage. Now, at level 3 is where I think this thing really takes off. And if I was going to get one, and if I do end up getting one, I would want to get it to level 3 or gold level, because then you get ambush, which is phenomenal because you are now potentially reducing your opponent's attack before they even get a chance to enter into the game, right? The ambush round happens beforehand, and so being able to do that, right, you don't have to worry about the speed. You're going to get that attack off no matter what, is huge. Now, at the final level, right, nothing changes in terms of stats except for the fact that you get the blind ability. And, blind is definitely powerful. I don't want to downplay it, but I don't know that I would literally want to double the cost of the card going from level 3 to level 4, because that ambush, I think, is where, things are really at. Now, you put this in the context of both of these cards being dual element. And we knew this going into it, right? So we knew that they would be dual element. But now we know what the elements are. One is fire, one is death. So again, I haven't really thought through all the implications on the death side. With the fire side, I think what's cool is the fact that, you kind of mitigate the scattershot ability if you're going to throw them with someone like Yasek, who is a popular and powerful summoner. On the other side of things, death already has a decent amount of magic attackers to it, but being able to add in another one, and one that has ambush, has blind, right, as well, I think that's probably where it could come in super handy. Granted, you can use someone like Spirit Hoarder, for example, that has blind at the higher levels. But if you wanted to make use of the blind with somebody who's doing magic damage, with somebody with a halving ability, again, I think it's a fantastic card that it's not going to win you games, but it is definitely a fantastic support card that can minimize the opponent's attacks, and then of course blind coming into the mix. So I actually really like this one, and at the very least, my plan is, or my hope is, that I want to grab at least 1 copy, right? So at least have it there as an option to be able to, just have what was I going to say, magic attacking magic attacking Halving monster or unit, whatever it's called. Just to have that. Now the other one, I mean, I don't want to shade everything so quickly, but I wasn't as impressed with. It is a rare card, so of course it's not going to be as good. This one is 6 mana, and as you can see here at the highest levels, we'll start that way and then work our way back down. You got 4 damage, 4 speed, so it's relatively fast. It has some armor, and it's not a big meat shield, but it does have the having ability to start with. It does get True Strike as well as Camouflage, and I think that's where things could really become interesting for this. So if you go, obviously at the base level, you're going to be doing 2 damage for 6 mana. I think that's a lot of mana. Yes, the having ability is cool, but again, it's like meh. Now before we actually jump in, let's go to the elements, right? So it's the water and life, which again, 6 mana for either of those teams. Like with those two teams, I'll put it this way, and I know that the meta that I play is not necessarily the top meta of the game, but when I'm playing life and water, I definitely tend to either go really big or really small, right? With the water side, if I want to go really small with like a Kelia sneak team or something like that, I'll do that. If there's a lot of mana, I go with, what's his name, Possibilis, and then really try to trample my way to victory. On the life side, and keep in mind, I don't have like a level 3, oh gosh, I don't even remember his name, Iziar. I don't have a level 3 Iziar, so my strategy is not as strong, or as part of the main meta there if you have top cards. But I tend to go with smaller teams as well on the life side. If we're going to do sneak or opportunity, like Celestial Harpy is one of my favorites. So I'll do that. Or if it's going to be higher mana, then I definitely like to go with, Uriel the Purifier. There's some other big mana folks there. That makes sense. So I just don't know when I would use this card as much. Again, everything is going to have its, unique kind of situation. But just looking at the availability of those, it's not something that I would immediately go to, as opposed to the other one where it's just like, magic attacking is just super powerful. But let's get beyond that. So you have the having ability. You have 2 damage, 3 damage max for bronze, right? 3 speed for bronze, 3 health. When you go into silver and max for silver, that's when you get True Strike. And I think that like if I was gonna get this card, up to a certain level, it would probably be there just to make sure I'm going to hit my shot, because he's not super fast at a speed of 3. There's not too many buffs. It's not like he has a Yasik or anything like that to really buff him up. But having the True Strike would make things all the better, right? And then on top of that, you're paying 6 mana, at least doing half the damage, 3 damage at that point. Now, of course, once you go to the higher levels, if you max this for gold, you do get that extra speed, armor, and, well, I guess the health is already up to 4. But then, of course, I guess the ability to get Camouflage will be pretty powerful as well, because then you can just throw him in the back. Now he's doing, 4 damage with a speed of 4, 6 mana. I actually think it pays off quite well if you were to go all the way up there. But at the lower levels, right, levels 1 through 3, so this is like bronze and early silver, I don't know. It just doesn't seem worth it. I can't. Then again, I don't play the meta that low, so I can't imagine using it for something like that. But overall, these cards look interesting. I'm very curious to see how they play out and what the appetite from the community will be for them. But, of course, we got all these other things going on here. So however many, you buy, and there is no maximum. So that is something that we did find out in the recent town hall. And the 5 biggest takeaways will be coming soon. But we did find out that there was no maximum for the cards. So we'll just see how many people end up printing. And if people buy too many, that could be an interesting situation as well. Because then maybe, there'll be some cheaper ones on the secondary market after the sale is done. Because the prizes are still worthwhile, right? If you want to get on top of that leaderboard, you can see here, there's 500 land tokens, alpha packs, beta packs, Rooney, so all this stuff still has value to people who are playing the game. And then, of course, there are leaderboard prizes in terms of titles. And you could get, if you're in the top, 20? You could get extra BCX, right? Even if you're in the top 13, you're going to get max copies of a regular foil at the very least. So in my opinion, I feel like there's going to be a lot of extras floating around. So that's why I'm going to wait and see how the sale goes. But with the sale only being 15 days, that's a very quick period of time, as opposed to what they've done in the past with, like a 30-day burning or something like that. So I think there's going to be like an initial rush. And I believe, you get more points earlier on, right? So there's going to be an initial rush, and then for anybody who's jockeying for position at the end for one of these leaderboard prizes, all this stuff is going to happen relatively quickly. So, overall, I'm excited to see what happens with this. Obviously, it's celebrating the Bitcoin halving, which is another big moment for us here. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.